Jack Kirby. Nice shirt, Scott.
Spoiler alert.
Holy Lord, is this an episode? Woo-wee!
Oh my God, it's so Kirby. It's so Kirby.
Oh, it is so Kirby, and we love it. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to DC Fan-imated. I'm, of course, Dave the Film Junkie. With me, as always, Mr. Scott McClellan. How's it going?
All of existence will be mine.
I know. I thought about doing that when I was like opening up. Should I do a Darkseid quote? But I was like, after we talked and I saw your shirt, I was like, let's just mention the Jack Kirby that's all in this episode.
Oh, right? and there's so much. Like, oh my God, my notes for this episode.
Yes, we got notes, folks.
We got notes.
We got some notes, which I'm anxious to hear about. But thank you guys, of course, for clicking in on the stream. How's it going, Ryan? He's the one that's only talking right now, but hey, that's fine. People will file in later and talk later. But yeah, this one is it expands the universe greatly.
It is so weird. All the connections, not only all the Kirby in the episode itself, but the behind the scenes Kirby connections and I mentioned this. If you go back, you have to go back way back in Batman the Fan-imated stream. I mentioned a connection that was going to come up later on in the universe, and this episode is it.
This is it. And then we also, we get a little, we get more characters in this. We get Dan Turpin, we get Maggie, we get them. This is the first with those crazy eyebrows, man. Dan.
Okay. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Do you know the significance of the character design of Dan Turpin?
I don't.
Have you ever seen a picture of Jack Kirby?
Oh, well, okay. I mean, yeah, but I didn't really think about that.
Hold on.
Okay, let's pull up one. Okay.
Oh, no, I came prepared.
Okay, good.
I came prepared. Oh, yeah. Sharing it right now.
Okay,
this is Jack Kirby, folks.
Did not even put that together.
They
Holy shit.
Yes, they literally drew Dan Turpin to look like Jack Kirby. This was
hilarious.
Intentional.
Wow, I did not even think about putting that together. Jesus Christ, that is so good. I love it.
I know.
Oh
because Dan Turpin is a Jack Kirby creation.
Mm-hmm.
He first appeared in New Gods #5, published in 1971, which goes back to, there was a 4-year period that Jack Kirby, after he left Marvel and came to DC, he wrote and drew 4 monthly series concurrently for 4 years, from 1971 to 1975. This is what is referred to as the Fourth World Saga.
Jeez.
So you got to imagine, this man was writing and drawing 4 series monthly at the same time over a 4-year period.
That's amazing.
It was New Gods, Mr. Miracle, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, and the Forever People. Those 4 series are what encompass the Fourth World Saga.
Jeez, this is crazy. You're gonna have to go internet again. You're freaking pixelating right when you were talking about all that. Damn it. So, why does that always happen at the beginning? It's so stupid. I hate when that happens. Jeez, why does that always happen with StreamYard? But anyway, sorry about that, folks. But we'll continue talking again. But all right, there we go. It's always like right towards the beginning, man.
And I'm coming live from Apocalypse now, apparently.
I know exactly. Yeah, live from Apocalypse. Here we go, Scott McClellan. Oi, but no, that's great. But
I did not realize that you didn't realize that Dan Turpin was modeled after Jack Kirby.
I did not know that. I didn't even think about it. Did not even think about it because, I mean, obviously this is a very Kirby episode, but I just didn't even think about, I mean, I've seen what he looks like before, but you don't think about what I don't sit there and go like, oh yeah, if I saw a picture right away, I would just automatically think that. I don't know. That's crazy. I love that though.
Okay. So another deep Kirby pull about this.
Okay.
The writer of this episode was Mark Evanier. he was an assistant to Kirby in the 70s
Mm-hmm.
and wrote his biography, Kirby King of Comics, that won a 2009 Eisner Award.
That's so cool.
I know, right?
This episode's great. This episode got even more, just got so much better after hearing all this. Oh my god! Do we have a voice of Turpin?
We do have a voice of Turpin. His name is Joseph Bologna.
Okay.
He appeared in a classic movie called My Favorite Year with Peter O'Toole, but
Okay.
a modern reference maybe for you. He was Adam Sandler's father in Big Daddy.
No shit. Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay, there you go. Okay, now I can put a face on that. Nice. Okay, thank you for doing that. Because
You're
I'm thinking,
welcome.
okay, I was like, I don't know about that movie, but yeah, you bring it to Big Daddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, if you're curious about My Favorite Year,
Mhm.
that's the movie where you get the line, "Dying is easy, comedy is hard."
Okay.
That's from My Favorite Year with Peter O'Toole
I'm
and
definitely
Cousin Larry from Perfect Strangers.
no shit.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe I have seen that movie. I don't know now. Okay, whatever. We're not talking about that. But
Tangent
yeah,
already, but hey, what can I
Andrew
say?
already. I know we could just go off and all that because when I saw his face and you said Peter O'Toole, I'm like, huh. Anyways, okay, but yeah. So this episode right here, obviously, this is what is it called again?
Tools of the Trade.
I know, but I'm talking about like what is that term that it's the episode before the season?
Oh, penultimate episode of season 1.
There you go. Because yeah, so we got one more episode to go when it comes to season 1 of Superman. And man, this one just, I mean, again, it's just, I remember last week I was going, oh, wait a minute. I think things were ringing. The bells were ringing, you know? Yeah.
You could say they were booming.
I know they were booming. Ping, 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 ping.
Ding,
You know, maybe ding, 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 ding. So yeah, I know they were like, yeah. So rewatching this episode, I was like, oh yeah, I know where this is going. And yeah, it just starts off. Obviously, we got the Metropolis Gold Exchange, and I like how this the subtle little way of like this dude just walking up to a hot dog vendor in front of it, and talking about the gold exchange. He goes, "Man, has anybody? I wonder if anybody's ever tried to rob it." And the vendor just goes like, "Oh, you need a tank the size of Pittsburgh," and sure enough, a tank just comes rolling down the streets. And the guy, like, of course, very cartoony Looney Tunes. He squeezes his hot dog that makes the hot dog part just. It's like, okay, very Looney Tunes right there, but it was just a fun little moment right there. I thought.
I mean, come on, it's a great introduction, and then you get the big ass tank, just driving through, and of course in my head it's like, oh, of course this is Intergang. That's who's going to have tech like this.
Of course, you're going to see that with the big tank, and then this is where we get introduced to Maggie and Dan. Mr. Turpin coming
and
in.
Detective Maggie Sawyer.
Yes, Sawyer.
A character from the comic books.
Uh-huh.
Now, she is not a Jack Kirby creation. She was introduced in 1987 in Superman #4. She was created by John Byrne.
Nice. There you
go.
So
once again, as once again, anyone who knows me has a name that comes off my lips whenever I talk about Superman is John Byrne. But yeah, she was introduced in 1987. She was when Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, she basically became Superman's contact with Metropolis Police, replacing the Silver Age character of Inspector Henderson. So Maggie Sawyer became his contact, and then of course she goes on to become a major player in that John Byrne post-crisis era of Superman.
And they kind of, they established that here, that there's a relationship that they establish here, at least, like obviously it's 22 minutes that they have to cram all this crap in there, but you get a sense of like, okay, this is going to be, when it comes to her and him, you can kind of see like they're trying to establish like a little bit of a connection here. But I also like it too, like we have Lois and Clark.
Hold on, before we move on from Maggie, though.
Okay.
We have a voice for Maggie.
Oh yeah, who's Maggie?
Joanna Cassidy.
Joanna Cassidy. Okay,
Okay,
who
I
is
got
that?
two references for you. Okay, she is Zora, the replicant who's the snake dancer in Blade Runner,
Oh, okay.
and she's Dolores in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. She's
No
Eddie's
shit.
girlfriend.
Yes,
She's
yes.
Eddie's girlfriend. Yes.
Oh man. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, that's when you think about Blade Runner. She was the what again in Blade Runner?
She was basically like the stripper who had the
Yeah.
snake.
Okay. She was
Yeah.
not in it that much. Yeah.
No,
So,
because she gets shot
yeah.
in the, she's the one when she
Yes.
goes
There you
running
go.
through the glass and gets shot in the back
That's what it is.
by
Yes.
Deckard.
Yeah, but yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? There you go, Dolores. Okay, so she's the one that's voicing it. Okay, okay, and I knew that voice sounded familiar too. Turpin sounded more familiar, but maybe that's because Big Daddy, like you said. But anyway, so and then so we get and then I love how Lois is just like, not gonna wait in this traffic. See you, Clark, and she just gets out of the car. So Lois of her, of course.
That's so Lois.
That's so Lois. I know we should have a segment where we just go, that's so Lois. And it's funny too, because they're having a shootout at the gold exchange and she just runs up.
I know. Okay. I
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, you're just gonna run up right behind the police and like
Yeah.
join in.
Exactly. I mean, like you got Turpin, you got Maggie that are just firing at these guys, and Lois just runs up. I was almost expecting that she was gonna like just pull out a revolver from her purse and start firing too. But I'm like, all right, it's whatever. It's Lois Lane. I get it. She's gonna run up there. But yeah, you think they would have it blocked off a little bit or something, but they're just going at it, and she's like right there. And of course, right as the tank enters the building, of course, Superman. I mean, obviously, when all the reports are happening and stuff like that, they're like, it's a whole big thing, and it's on TV. And then, of course, we see Superman just like swoop in. Obviously, Clark.
It has. I remember this way. I love the way how he like punches the cannon off the tank like piece by piece. It's like boom, boom, and then he rips into it.
Yes, it's a good little action sequence, and I mean, he gets a little rattled at first, but then of course, and then he lifts it, and it's funny too because he lifts it up and then just drops it, and I'm just thinking, yeah, those guys would probably the gravity, the force probably would have, broken some bones
at least.
Yeah, but it disabled the tank. That's all that they were trying to express. Is like the tank is now disabled, and and then of course Manheim is just that's where he's watching the whole report like in his mansion or whatever the hell, and of course he's pissed, and he gets even more pissed. I mean, obviously he gets more pissed later, and then but it's funny too because when it comes to Dan Turpin, I mean, you almost get like a Harvey Bullock sense to him at first because he seems like he doesn't like Superman.
Yes,
there's a very Harvey Bullock sense to him at first because obviously the reporters are just. I mean, there's a one reporter that just always just like saying like, "Oh, yeah,
it's Angela Chen." That's
yeah, and she like always is just saying like, "Well, hey, it seems like Mr. Blue Boy is always bailing you guys out." And that pisses him off, of course, because he wants to be a good cop. He wants to take these guys down, and then he got
and with those eyebrows, how can you say no? I mean, just
exactly. I'm telling you, man, he needs to get those cleaned up. But gets a little rattled from that naturally, and but then of course we have Manheim, and this is a cool little sequence or cool little scene because he has all this artillery, just weapons, everything, but they're useless against Superman. So he's just like, fuck this. Like, these are toys. What are we even doing here? We can't do anything with this guy around because they do nothing. And then somebody shows up.
Ooh, Kanto. Yes.
Kanto. Man, I tell you what.
Clearly a Kirby creation.
Yes.
Clearly. I mean, clearly.
That hair, and of course, the mustache goatee. You're like, that's interesting. I mean, because it's funny because if you look at what he looks like in the comic books, and
then what he looks at the end of the episode.
Yeah, at the end of the episode. But in here, he's like wearing a suit, and you're like, that doesn't match. Like the whole time, you're like, that doesn't look like that's what he normally wears. And sure enough, when you see what he normally wears, you go, all right, that checks out. Just like that hair and that, what the style is. But yeah, he shows up.
By the way, Kanto
Oh yeah,
appeared
who's
in
his voice?
Mr. Miracle
Oh
number
yeah.
7,
Mhm.
published in 1972. So once again, he's a new god. Clearly, we don't know this yet, but we
Darkseid
will.
Elites. Yeah.
Yeah, but another Kirby creation. And did you recognize the voice?
No, I did not. Uh-oh. Damn it.
Dave.
I know.
Dave.
I'm going to be so disappointed in myself when you tell me who it is. Go ahead and tell me. Rip the Band-Aid.
It's Michael York.
It's Michael York. Shit.
And do you know why that's so significant, Dave?
Sorry, I muted my mic right now.
Because you were just, it was really great because you're like, I don't know what. Okay.
I know. Sorry about that. I was like, I totally just, when I was like doing the depressed thing on my mic, I accidentally muted it. So go ahead. Just keep ripping off Band-Aids. It's
okay.
fine.
When was the last major time that we had Michael York as a voice in this animated universe?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. He was the voice of Vertigo in Off Balance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what happened at the end of Off Balance?
Refresh my memory.
Who did we get introduced to at the very end of Off Balance?
Again, gonna be drawing blanks right now. It's been a long weekend, dude. I've been busy. Sorry.
I'm so
I know you are. I know you are. But off the top of my head, with all this peer pressure, my brain is going.
Okay. Remember, Off Balance is the episode where Batman and Talia team up to take down Vertigo. And who are we introduced to at the very end of the episode?
Raish.
Raish.
Yes.
So here we get an episode with Michael York again voicing a character. And then we get introduced to a big bad at the very end of the episode. Wow. It follows the same pattern. And Michael York voices both characters who kind of guide us to the actual big bad by the end of the episode.
See, there you go. This is why this. I mean, again, I'm disappointed in myself.
You should.
I will never forgive myself for that. But this is
also why I freaking do this show. I mean,
exactly. If it was just me talking about this, holy crap. This is what we do. I'm the guy that just does this, man. You got all the knowledge and you blow my mind. And I'm disappointed that I did not think about that, but that is awesome. I love the parallels like that. That is cool. I would never even thought about how that episode ended, how it introduced that character, that big bad, which, led to more things. And then we get this. Wow. That's really freaking cool right there.
Mm-hmm,
but yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we get introduced to Kanto and he basically is like, hey, I got some weapons that you could use. And then he showed, and then of course we get like some demonstration. We get the Omnicore. Is that what it's called? The Omnicore? The with the fist?
Well, that wasn't first. First he's got the staff that looks like a tuning fork.
Yeah.
Which once again, all these Kirby-esque designs. I mean, now when I say Kirby-esque designs, do you have any idea what I mean when I talk about a Kirby design?
I think so. Yeah.
What is your understanding of Kirby-esque?
Because it's like it's godlike, but it's technology. I don't know. It's like a combination. I would say like they look like, like obviously he's got like that staff, but it's got so much. It's technology. I don't know. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. But yeah.
So when you look at something, if you want to think about something that is Kirby-esque, you'll see a lot of straight lines with not like angles. So think about how it's not rounded. It's very out, up, out. Like it's got a lot of sharp angles and straight lines. And then look at the design. And then when you look at the design on it, you'll see a lot of lines with circles at the end. That like when Kirby drew technology, because you can also go back, because remember Kirby was one of the co-creators of Thor. for Marvel, and
Yeah.
go back and look at Asgard, a design of Asgard technology in Marvel Comics, and you'll see that, because we talked about in Last Son of Krypton Part 1 that on the screen where Brainiac had his 3 dots,
Hmm.
and there was all that stuff floating around on the screen. I told you that's what's called Kirby crackle.
Oh, that's right. Kirby crackle. That's right. That term. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because because usually, and that was the one thing that disappointed me, is that when he showed the Armitage or whatever, the hands,
Yeah.
I really wish they had that the energy that's glowing around the hands. I really wish it had been Kirby crackle, because if this had been like a Kirby comic, that's what Kirby crackle would have been. It would have been the energy, radiating, off of the hands. Like that's how easy. Like when laser beams fired, the
Mhm.
laser would have had like the little
Yeah.
circles and dots
Mhm.
all drawn into it. So whenever you see, these really weird angular with lots of lines and circles, that tends to be a very, what we call a Kirby design.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, obviously, I mean, yeah, his designs, even like you said, even going back to Thor and showing, like, because everything is all, it's like medieval like with everything, but it's like there's so much technology within that. So, and just, great designs. I mean, I forgot about the Kirby crackle though. That's cool. I'm glad that came back. But yeah, showing obviously they're doing a demonstration. Obviously, yeah, we saw the staff that basically could just obliterate any weapon that anybody has, and then of course we get a laser that could just basically just go through anything. Like there's a steel safe that he shoots it at, and it just melts it like it's nothing.
Like
And then
it's
of course,
butter. Like it's
like it's
butter.
butter. You melted it like it's butter. And then of course we get I think, yeah, they call the is it called the Omnicore, right?
I thought that was
Omniture.
the armature, because I thought it was like a
Omniture. I think
armature.
it's
Yeah,
something like
something.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, it's just you put on the gloves, they create bigger hands. It's like energy. It's almost,
Which kind of reminds you like a Green Lantern
yes,
ring.
that's what I was gonna say. It's Green
Yeah.
Lantern-esque, but it's got purple around it and stuff. But I mean, you're starting to see, like, okay, it's it's just raw energy that's what Kanto says. It's like it's raw energy. And then of course I love how Turpin just Dan Turpin just shows up. He just, he shows up to because he knows, he's like, Manheim, this is the guy. This is the guy I gotta take down. So he showed, and he's seeing all this. He's seeing all this, and because he's like in a tree or something like that. He's climbing up the wall. What?
No, you're right. You're like he's like hanging
Yeah.
up, like he used a tree to like hang up the
Yes.
wall, and he's like spying
And looking at all this stuff. Yeah.
because they're doing this all like in Mannheim's front yard.
Yeah, that's a safe place to do it. Right. Good job. Good job. And then of course, Manheim is like, hey, like, what obviously he's, because Manheim's, he knows that this shit ain't free. This ain't.
I love that line.
Yeah.
What does this cost me? For the moment, nothing. And in my experience, nothing can get really expensive.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I love that line.
It's a great line, because he knows, he's a guy. It's business, man. It's business.
Yes.
And then Kanto says, like, oh yeah, I just consider this a free sample. And it's like, oh boy. And then we get like a sense of like, okay, so we see him like eventually just go outside out, and just disappear. Dan sees this, he
But
sees
you
it.
notice that we hear a what now when it happens?
Yeah.
Boom.
You hear a little boom that happens. That's where you start going, oh boy,
Boy.
oh boy.
I do, however, love the fact that they hint at the boom tube twice. It's not until like the third time that we actually like see a boom tube.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that way of like, when I'm watching the show, I don't have a flying idea what's going on when I'm watching this show back in like 1996.
Yeah.
But I love it how, like, if you're a comic book fan and you know Kirby's Fourth World, you're just like creaming your pants, like you know what's going on. And while 14-year-old me would be like, what's
Huh?
going on? Huh?
Huh? Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're watching this, you're like, all right, this guy, well, obviously he's not from here. What the hell is happening? But yeah, watching it and rewatching it now, you're like, oh man, there's so much in this. Oh man, this is great. And forgetting how much there's in it. But so then we see that, and then of course we go back to the station. What are they a part of again? The Metropolis
Special Crimes
That's
Unit.
what it is. That's right.
At the SCU, the Special Crimes Unit, which is that part of the Metropolis PD that's meant to handle you know special cases, usually like supervillains and technology, kind of like Inner Gang.
Yeah.
Think about like the Dark Knight, like when Gordon's working for the Major Crimes Unit in that movie. That's
That's what this is.
this is like the Metropolis version of that.
Makes sense. And then of course Dan's talking to Maggie and just like, dude, the guy just like disappeared out of thin air. And but it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, Manheim's the guy, I want to take him down, don't need Superman, blah 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 blah. And then of course we get our first job, because obviously Manheim's like, all right, got new toys, not like the old toys, these are new and improved, so let's do a new job. So we got these goons that show up to just a money train is being
It's just a good old-fashioned train robbery,
Yeah, why not use the technology for a good old-fashioned train robbery? There's nothing wrong with that. You always have, the two guards that they're just sitting there pouring coffee, sitting there. And like, again, we've talked about that, how, in like Batman, where it's like, what are these guards going to do?
Seriously.
Like, what are they there for? And I was thinking the same thing when it came to this. And I was just like, all right. If something really bad happens, what are these guys going to really do? And sure enough, something pretty bad happens where, well, taken out using the whatever the hell it's called again, the big fists. We'll just call it the big fists. What do they call those? Anyways. So, and just kind of just take out the train track where the train goes, into the ground, doesn't crash or whatever.
Yeah, everyone's dead, by the way. If that,
yeah, I know you would think so. It would just be like that, but so that's all happening, and of course, I love this part at the Daily Planet where like Lois just like rushes by Clark and she's like, train development, blah blah blah, and then like she gets so upset with the elevator because she's just like, as she's talking, she just keeps on clicking it, and then she goes, train development, and I wish that the guy that operated this elevator was on the train. I forgot exactly what she said, but it's just a funny moment because as she's telling Clark what's happening, she's constantly clicking the button as if that's going to make anything work faster, and it's just a funny moment that Lois has. And then I like what Superman does.
That's the best part. I love how he just sort of, it kind of reminds me of what Brandon Routh does in Superman Returns.
Yes,
Remember that?
The elevator shaft, yeah.
The elevator shaft, yeah. But I love how he just kind of slowly backs into the elevator shaft and then drops. And as soon as he drops, he just like zooms on the shaft, zooms out of it, zooms out the spinning door, and he's just a blur.
It's just all a blur. And everybody's like, okay. So, and then we get like a cool little, action sequence that happens right here. Obviously, they melt the door to, open up the money part of the train where they're going to rob it. And then, of course, Superman's going to be fighting with these guys. And there's actually a cool little close call moment where some power lines start coming down, and of course he has to like grab onto him, and it's obviously electrocuting him, but it's not doing much, but he's still struggling. And then he lifts it up just in time as another train was about to go by. I was like, oh, it was a cool shot, just a cool shot of him just going up, and then like that was.
I liked him being electrocuted as he was lifting the tower back up. That just
adds a little more to it, right?
Right. It's like, oh yeah, he's taking a little bit of a beating right now.
Yeah. I mean, even though it's Superman, it's like, you know what? It still probably doesn't feel that great. Imagine. And then, of course, when you're just trying to hold up that, showing a little struggle right there. So, and then, of course, when after all that, happens, all those guys get away. And then then of course we go back to Dan and Maggie, and they're arguing about Manheim and trying to get him, and it just goes back to the whole thing of like how Dan is just kind of Harvey Bullock-esque when he's just like, no, I don't need Superman. And of course Maggie's like, we need to bring Superman in on this. He's going to be our guy to help us. You have to welcome him into this. And he just drops his badge into her hands.
I know, he like turns in his badge.
Yeah,
and I'm really glad.
thing.
That very cliche thing. But
Yeah.
I'm also glad later on when Maggie has that line with Superman, it's like, if I had a nickel for every time that Dan Turpin turned in his badge. But that was an interesting relationship. I like the fact that even though Turpin is like the grizzled veteran, Maggie's his commanding officer. Like, Maggie's the one in charge of the SCU.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that? Like,
yeah.
She's the boss. And that was cool. I appreciated that, where it wasn't he's the grizzled old veteran and he's, the guy in charge. He's like, no, he's working for Maggie.
At first, it does seem like he's the boss, because obviously you just automatically think that, oh, she's the young one, he's the old one. But the fact that when he gave her his badge, you're like, oh, okay, it's not that. And the fact that he was arguing and just like pushing back, I like that. I really like that it's kind of flipped right there, because you wouldn't think that at first, but that was just really cool. Like, I mean, obviously it's a trope. You see it so many times in movies where it just,
I mean, the only thing he didn't do also was hand in his gun.
I was about to say, I was like, that was the only other thing, was like, he didn't like, hand over the revolver and slam it on the desk or something like that. But so yeah, they do that. And then of course we're back at Manheim's, where, this time Dan's like showing up, and he's like more like, trying to be stealthier.
He's got his turtleneck on,
He's the turtleneck, the infamous DC animated turtleneck that everybody ends up wearing when it's at night and they're doing something, they're sneaking somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta be sneaky. You gotta be wearing a turtleneck.
Yes, you have to have that.
How many times did we see Bruce Wayne in a turtleneck?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Can't even, lost count. And then of course we got Kanto that shows up, and he has another little device that it's kind of,
and once again we hear the
we hear the boom tube, but we don't see it, which is, again, I love that you brought that up, that we don't see it for the first two times, but then we eventually do see it. And then of course he like shoots this, looks like lasers that just wrap around him at first, but then it turns into actual, solid, he just basically turned him into a mummy, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he wrapped him up. Yeah,
almost like bandages, but he can't get out. So we got that, and then of course, Kanto says to Manheim that, oh yeah, his boss is pleased, with the first demonstration of the weapons that they gave, which is good. And then of course he gives him another weapon that, hey, you know what, this one right here, you could probably destroy Superman with this. I think, you've proven yourself to be like, hey, here's one that can get rid of that, good old Flyboy right there.
Yeah, and once again, Kirby-esque, because it's just look at the design.
The design.
I mean, just look at the design of that gun, and then look at the design of the early warning system, how it's just big and giant and huge, and it's like, is there any reason for it to be that freaking big?
So ridiculous, because you didn't see him give him that. It was just like, it was there and he already like had it. We didn't see that, like him give him that, but it's like, it's like a weird design, like a robot looking weird thing. And it basically sensed that, oh yeah, Superman is, it's sensing Superman that he's coming. And it's a very, very interesting design. And then of course, when Superman does show up to the mansion, you got the goons on top of the roof. They're shooting like flare, pulse, whatever the hell. And I love how Superman just grabs one and throws it back.
Yes.
That was cool. That was really cool. How we just grabbed one of those and just threw it back to take those guys out. And then of course inside he takes on another guy who's doing like the fists again. But
that's cool though. Like when he like grabs the energy and basically like breaks his fingers.
Dude, I was like, oh, they got I mean, I guess there's no blood or no nothing, but when you see like when he breaks through those and you see that guy go, and you see like
they're all like
sweat,
twisted and stuff.
You see a little sweat like go down. It's like, and then you see his fingers like all
jacked up.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, man, that did not feel good at all. Holy crap, man. But then, of course, we got Manheim. It's like, all right, time to test out this new weapon. And at first, he's like, all right, let me toy with him a little bit. Just shoot him, where it's gonna maybe, knock him down a little bit, but then he's gonna like turn it on to, he's gonna turn it up to 11. And then this is where we're gonna get into the clip right here, because this is where it gets intense and I love it. So here we go. Mr. Manheim, the floor is yours.
Get ready to eat it, Superman.
Look at that
Look, see all the dots and the zigzaggies.
And the lines, yes. And then, of course, Turpin just comes in and saves his ass. Look at those eyebrows.
That's where all his strength comes from, is the eyebrows. Oh, and this shot of Superman.
Yes. Oh, dude, this shot is beautiful. Absolutely. Look at that. So freaking cool. And he just walks into the
Oh, I mean, angry red eyes. Angry red eyes.
Just a full shadow. So good.
And and this is Superman. He goes looking for Turpin, and he's gonna rescue Turpin first.
Make sure he's good.
Just catching my breath.
Just catching my breath. I love that. And then this is cool right here. There it is.
Oh, wait, you've got to help me. Give me something.
Give me something.
You had your chance.
Now I hear the voice. God damn it.
Yeah. I also love how Manheim jumps in right before the
right at the end
closes.
Yeah, right at the end. You're like, well, what the hell? So that was cool, like a little ending of that. And then of course we have the reporters, same one. What's the reporter's name again?
Angela Chen.
Yeah. She, of course, is trying to give him the business again, saying like, yeah, Superman saved your ass. And I love this little turnaround where it's like Superman just shows up and goes, nope, reverse. He saved me. And I was like, that's cool. It's a cool little flip. So now, it's not now it's not like Harvey Bullock anymore, I guess you could say.
No, that actually, now it's like there's this mutual respect between Superman and Dan Turpin, which will play out later on in the series, of course. But that's not where the episode ends.
No, and we have to show the clip too.
We have to
because it's just. I was like, when I was watching it, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna show 2 because I like that part, that ending, that part right there, and then we're gonna fast forward to when we get this little.
Oh my God! Fire pits!
Yes,
fire
pits everywhere.
Where in God's name are we?
And I love this.
That depends.
That depends.
Which God are you talking about?
I love that.
Listen, buddy.
And look at that outfit. Now it makes sense.
I know, right? Oh, and that. Just look up there.
And then you're like,
Welcome to Apocalypse, Mr. Manheim.
Who are you?
Your new lord and master.
Master.
You may call me Darkseid.
And of course, that voice.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is so
Michael Ironside. Oh,
that guy's voice.
That guy's
so
voice.
Recognizable. You just, God damn it. Michael Ironside.
The only thing that shocked me, because it's been a while since I watched this episode, is how much more like stuff they've done to his voice in this little appearance. Because I feel like as the show goes on, they pull back on all the producing and you get more just they let Michael Ironside just do the business himself. And
the dude's voice is just, oh my God. I mean, he doesn't need much. Similar to Ray Porter, similar to what's his name that's also done it too.
Tony Todd has
Tony
done
Todd.
it.
There you go. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. I mean, there's a certain, that's why when I think about the story that Ray Porter has said, many times when he got when he got the Darkseid, cast, and because obviously he was cast first to play that little cameo that we see him in the Viking, whatever the heck, when it came to the mother boxes, when Diana's telling Bruce about the whole story of all that stuff. He was originally,
by the way, we get a cameo of a mother box in this episode.
Did we really?
Well, think about it. Kanto reaches into his pocket and uses a device to open up the boom tube. The only thing that opens up a boom tube is a mother box.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. God, this is a great episode.
This is a great episode.
There's so many things. So many things.
Much Kirby. So much Kirby.
Oh, I love it. Wow. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, they don't bring attention to it. But like he just reaches their pocket and goes beep. And it's like, well, the only thing that opens a mother box, opens a boom tube is a mother box.
I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, that's the only thing that does. Oh man, God damn, they just were really going like, we're just going all out with like little things here and there.
That's the thing. It's like, it was like Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Alan Burnett and company. It was like, no, because you've got to know that by the time this show was coming out, Kirby has already passed away.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby passed away in 1994. And then this series is coming out in 1996. But the idea to commit to go, oh no, we're going to bring the Kirby, when it comes to our animated series, make Darkseid basically, I mean, you got Lex Luthor, of course, and you got Brainiac, but we're really going to make like Darkseid, like the biggest bad of our show.
Dude, it's so good. And the fact that it's not even like the season finale.
No, it's not. It's not.
They're like,
no.
They didn't wait to, they were like, oh no, this is not going to even be the season finale. We're going to tease this, the episode before. I mean, come on. Good job. Bravo, guys. I love it.
I know. And once again, the way that this series, and dude, wait till we get to season 2. Yeah. Wait till we get to season 2. Oh, and there's some stuff that goes down in season 2. But the way that this series is single-handedly responsible for decades, my knowledge of anything related to the fourth world by Jack Kirby. It's just, yes.
It's just so freaking good. But yeah, I mean, just going back to what I was talking about when it comes to, I mean, there's a certain voice for Darkseid that is Darkseid, and Michael Ironside, Tony Todd, right? That's his name.
Yeah, Tony Todd, because he did it for the later the DC animated movies that made like the continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He was the voice for Reign of the Supermen and Apocalypse War.
Okay, yeah, that's right. But I mean, there's just a certain, that's where I'm like, that Zach is like a fan of all this stuff. When he heard Ray Porter's voice, he was like, that's it. That's it. And like you said, they don't need much to add to production when it comes to, like you said, with Ironside's voice. It's like they kind of like relaxed on it in the later stuff, because it's like, dude, just that's the dude's voice. Just like,
I mean, they even brought Michael Ironside back for the Harley Quinn animated series. He's just so good.
It's just so good. But season finale next week, and what do we got?
Two's a crowd.
Is it? It's a return.
It is a return
of.
You want to take a guess?
Purple guy.
Yep.
I think I remember. Yes.
Yes. Parasite. Yeah. Parasite.
Yeah.
Comes
See,
back.
the later episodes are more familiar than the beginning. That's what's funny. I'm like, ooh, man.
You're doing a lot better with like remembering, like.
Yeah. For some reason. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so we get the return of Parasite next week. Two's a crowd, and it should be interesting.
Yes, season 1, episode 13, final episode of season 1. And
crazy how it's like 13 episodes when you have that first Batman
season. Oh my god, that was like 65 episodes before we get to the end of season 1.
It is crazy how that is now. It's like how everything's so it's different now where it's like, all right, we're already at the end of season 1 of Superman, the
I
animated
told you
series.
the entire series of Superman the Animated Series is less episodes than season 1 of Batman the Animated Series.
Insane. But yeah, check that out, guys. And we'll be back here, of course, talking about it. And hopefully at the regular time. But today, there's like a traffic jam if you saw my Twitter.
Dude, you need a mother box. You just need to travel by
I know.
BoomTube. I mean,
That's all I need.
with
If I could
California traffic,
Canto.
BoomTube's the way to go. I'm just saying.
Canto. You got one? Anything? I need something. All right. Come here with your weird hair and your and your goatee / mustache thing. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys spending some time with us tonight, talking about this great Kirby episode. We're all nerd bonering out right here when it comes to a lot of and there's even more, obviously, that Scott has given us with when it comes to
I get
notes
boners. It's what I
you
do.
You do. Jesus Christ. You definitely do. I can't stand up right now for sure. But go ahead, Scott. Send us off.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast at DC Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. We're on Vero, Facebook, YouTube, with the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com. Sorry for the delayed new episodes. Tim, my co-host, stuff's happening. So, you have to understand. But you do realize we got Blue Beetle this week, so there'll be a review coming hopefully soon. I got to make sure Tim's got tickets to go see Blue Beetle.
Oh.
So he's had stuff. Stuff has been happening. But squadcastmedia.com, you can find all of our archive stuff. And of course, please support us over at patreon.com/squadcastmedia. You got over 400 pieces of content. I'm sure you haven't seen all of it. So go over there and check it out. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Smash that like, thumbs up, subscribe, do all that. See you guys tomorrow on Film Junkie Live, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Plenty to talk about. So see you guys then. We will talk to you guys later.